You're going to want to think about what you want to release before the year ends. What do you want to strengthen in your life? How can you use Scorpio energy, this Beaver Supermoon, the brightest, biggest moon of the year so far? And also, how can you work with the knowledge of the Mercury retrograde to help guide this? When things come up, you go, ooh, is that Pluto and Mars energy right now? Is that what's going on? It will help you kind of laugh at yourself a little bit, bring in that vitality.
Hello. That, in terms of yoga and the brain, is because your body and your brain work better when they're clean.
Even if it did fail, I knew I could always go back to corporate and find a job.
Teaching cafeteria workers who work so incredibly hard, teaching them about handling fresh produce, how to get more fresh produce into the schools.
You need to tell people, bring a coffee to Coffee and Crystals.
But sometimes you need an intervention. You need a surgery, and that's okay. You get your surgery, and then you use all these other modalities in the Ayurveda to prevent things from coming back.
Hey guys, welcome back to Coffee and Crystals. I'm your hostess, Katie Cronister, and today on the show, it's a solo episode in celebration, full moon in Taurus. It is Scorpio season. We've got a Mercury retrograde happening this month. Also, we've got Mars and Pluto up here in the sky. So we're dedicating and talking about all the things in the sky today in a little full moon ritual episode. But if you're new to the show, welcome. This is a yoga podcast. I talk about entrepreneurship. I am like a serial entrepreneur. I work a lot in content creation, obviously, as a hostess. I'm also a yoga instructor. I have 500 hours of yoga school credentials, big yogi on the day-to-day life. So I love talking to yoga instructors, bringing my teachers, bringing some of my gurus on the show to talk yoga philosophy. Yoga is more than just asana, and that's really why I created Coffee and Crystals as a place. As a writer who's publishing her first book next year, this is also a place where I can tell my stories and then weave it into my love for yoga and wellness and business and yapping. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you aren't following the show, please make sure you take a time right now to make sure you are following on the platform that you are listening to. If it's Apple or Spotify, you have to make sure you're following the show. Also, give a review, 5 stars, 5 stars. Give your girl a 5-star review. All of this is a free way to help my show grow. Also, send the show to somebody that you think would benefit from the show. I had a girlfriend reach out to me last week and say that she answered a prompt in a Slack message about what her favorite podcast was, and she entered Coffee and Crystals. So slide me into a Slack DM this week. Give me a shout out. I am looking to grow this community so that we can continue to do some really cool things. I'm having an awesome book launch for the summer solstice in June. It's going to be here in Los Angeles. So if you're interested in hearing more about that event, please make sure you connect with me. I'll get you on the newsletters. Also, I will be teaching a meditation in Santa Monica Beach, a couple options coming up in the new year. Also, the show is evolving and growing. I've got some really cool guests. So you have to subscribe and follow the show so you don't miss any of the updates. So happy November, everyone. I hope everybody had an awesome Halloween weekend. I really loved that Halloween ended on a it's kicked off on a Friday, and then our new month started on a weekend. What an awesome transition and flow into November. It just felt like an awesome holiday, and I was watching all the updates on social media between friends and coworkers and family members. Like, y'all had fun this year. Like, I felt like the world needed a good, solid Halloween, and I was showing like all these updates to different people with different outfits, and like really just thought it was cool how everybody was really enjoying the season. It made my heart happy. Speaking of heart, one of the intentions that I am holding in the new month as I focus on transformation in my own practice, been talking a lot about just the idea of time and space and the transformation of understanding and really practicing the idea that all the possibilities that you could ever want are infinite. And once you are comfortable being in that space and really practice space and feeling this abundant energy, you really start to feel like your whole life is transforming. So I'm focusing on that, but I'm also just focusing on love and harnessing that vast transformational space idea when it comes to love in my life and sharing love and holding love and just thinking of love in a way of transformation for both myself and for the people in my life. So I want you guys to think of your word. It's a transformation season. For me, it's not just the end of the year, but I am really focusing on finishing my book edits by the end of the year, which means the barn is pulling in. I had to make some clear goals for myself to finish what I wanted to finish before the holidays come. So I encourage you guys to circle back on your New Year's goals. I think so often people come to the back half of the year and they get swallowed up in the holidays, or they just start to stress out that they didn't do more this year. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's only 2 months. But no, guys, just lose all that dead weight energy. What November is here to remind us that it is a rebirth month. It is a time where you're letting go and shedding. And yeah, take notes of what it is that you didn't accomplish, and take a tighter little note and a to-do list of what you can accomplish, because that's honestly why the Native Americans even called it the Beaver Moon. This is when the beavers know it's not winter yet, but this is like the last sprint, the last hustle to gather all the things that they need for winter. And Scorpio season's themes in general is the element of water. So fluidity, staying hydrated. The symbol is the Scorpio, but another interesting thing is the ruling planets this month is Pluto and Mars. So I'd totally take my friends to Mars with me. I think that would be like a fun trip. But usually these planets are kind of like, boys and girls go to Mars. Like, it's not something you talk about lightly. So know that that's like the energy in the air for this season. But the focus is transformation. It's about emotional depth. It's about shadow work and rebirth. So as I focus my energy on love and connection and final edit goals for my book, I'm thinking of this as an energetic way to also shed old patterns, really dive into my subconscious with empowerment, because those are the energies of the season. In Chinese medicine, they talk a lot about healing through the organs that's connected to the season, and it's the kidneys and the gallbladder. And the themes of those organs are willpower, fear, vitality, and essence. It's funny, one of our first guests in November will be Will, my yoga instructor from John Reed. I've been going to his class for over a year. Sometimes in some week, I visit his class 3 times in 1 week. And I made a joke to him that he was definitely somebody that saw me more than anybody in my life. And it's kind of weird to think about that. It's like, okay, my yoga instructor is the only person who sees me this much. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because it was kind of cool to have him on the show and kind of just to have a conversation about the way he teaches. And I think what came out of this show is he was like, you're very playful. And the word to me that came was vitality. And that later I learned is a theme of the season. So although I am saying that it's the time to sprint and make clear goals from your original goals of what you can accomplish for the back half of the year, I also want you to remind yourself that the theme of the season is vitality, and ways to experience vitality is being playful and being joyful. The episode will probably air in the next couple weeks, so make sure you tune in to that episode. But I thought it also was a great episode on the theme of this month, which is willpower and understanding what it is that you want to be known for. And that episode really reminded me of what I loved doing as a kid, and how no matter what dream I had for myself, it was really all came down to what it was that I would do to make those things happen. So think about that this month when you are sitting and going inward under the full moon. The foods that are really great in this season are dark foods, nutrient rich foods. You're going to need hydration. So the element is water, and you definitely need rest this season. So don't feel so bad when you feel like you're more tired. You just need more tired. You need more sleep this time of year. There's more darkness for a reason. So, some actionable tips and rituals that will kind of help you explore these emotions and the shadow work that this season is calling in. And these are things that I do in my writing rituals, but also just in the full moon rituals. So, this is the season, it's asking us to release. So, these are ways that you can release. I think a good way for this would be journaling. So, a good prompt for you to journal on is, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What part of my story needs a second look? And then burning written notes is a good ritual for right now. You can also take a ritual bath, declutter your space, definitely light some candles, make sure you're grounding, sitting on the ground, grounding rituals, which is soft music, meditation, walking in nature, making your own food. Set yourself some clear boundaries and some protective ones, because you're going to want that going into the holiday energy, as there's going to be a lot of expectations from friends and families. So you need to understand your boundaries now, and this is energetically, spiritually, and physically. So the gratitude is definitely something that I'm going to pick back up in my morning routine. I used to be really good about writing out what I was grateful for every day, and I think I just need to get back to the physical practice of doing that and just beginning where I am. So I feel like day to day, I try to walk a life that I am really radiating gratitude. But I think that that is something that I decided I was going to bring back into my practices this month, and just embracing the transformation, embracing that I have to finish these projects, and also understanding that sometimes this means I have to start new ones, which can be frustrating because you're like, I'm just trying to finish this project. And then all of a sudden, when you're in the nitty gritty of that project, something else comes from it. So just taking a deep breath and understanding that when you think, if you close your eyes and just thought about the word transformation, it probably feels like a big energy. So as much as we want to flow through these things, I think we need to just be aware that transformation is big, it's fiery. So I wouldn't expect it to be so easy, right? So some yoga poses and practices that are going to help support your kidney and your bladder. I was thinking about yoga poses, bridge pose, locust pose, fish pose. These are good for opening your kidneys, your chest, and your back. I was also really thinking about, honestly, my habits at the gym and bringing back some strength training. So I was like, oh, okay. So I can focus on like chest and back. Like there's always all these different elements, right? Like I need to strength and stretch this area. So back to stretching, child's pose, seated forward folds are great. Cat cows. This helps to support your bladder meridian, and it helps release tension and around those organs. Malasana and mountain pose. These are great grounding poses. They help cultivate good energy, and this can help you with stability and support when you are calling in a grounding energy at the beginning or during your yoga practice. Some additional foods is sea vegetable is really good for kidney and bladder health. Kelp. Root vegetables, so sweet potatoes, carrots, and beets. I've been cooking a lot with sweet potatoes and carrots. I've been making a lot of soups. Beet. I used to drink a lot of beet juice, so this is a good reminder to do that. Hydrating foods like cucumbers and water-rich fruits. Herbal teas are good. Ginger, dandelion. Healthy fats and minerals like walnuts, almonds, and pumpkin seeds. And then you're going to want to avoid excess salt, processed food, caffeine, and alcohol. All that stuff just dehydrates you. So some practices, like I mentioned already, would be drinking water mindfully. You want to keep your lower back and your feet warm because we're really regulating those areas of our body and our organs. Grounding. So I always head to the beach once a week, but making sure that you're barefoot when you're out at the beach and really like connecting with Mother Earth. Time in nature in general is just really important. I'm adding in a hike a week to just make sure I'm getting outside and just seeing the light since it is lighter, and just mindful movement, especially in a transformation period where you might be focusing more on strength and empowerment. You still can't go too hard, right? We have to be mindful and ensure that we are targeting the muscles and giving our bodies time to transform so we keep that balance of the flow. Sleeping and eating, it just supports kidney energy. It helps with that vitality and it helps you stay resilient as all these things are coming at us. So slow and steady wins the race, everyone. So this month, like I mentioned, it's all about transformation. So I'm focusing on my book edits and staying gratitude during this process because it is a big process, but reminding myself that this is just so exciting and something I've wanted all my life. So hoping that that message is a good message for you guys. Like, you might have big dreams and goals and that can be overwhelming, which is good. That means they're big enough, but you can overcome the challenge. Part of the transformation is having a challenge. So if you don't have a challenge, is more concerning than if your challenge is feeling a little overwhelming. So remember, in your journal prompts and your meditations and your reflections this week for the moon, is you're going to want to think about what you want to release before the year ends. What do you want to strengthen in your life? How can you use Scorpio energy, this Beaver Supermoon, the brightest, biggest moon of the year so far? And also, how can you work with the knowledge of the Mercury retrograde to help guide this transformation? So when things come up, you go, ooh, is that Pluto and Mars energy right now? Is that what's going on? It will help you kind of laugh at yourself a little bit, bring in that vitality. It's important to understand what we're working with so we can make a plan to get through this stronger and in a more yogic way. Take a moment tonight. I want you to light those candles, clean a little bit of your space, set strong intentions, journal, let yourself rest, and be okay to have a night or an evening to just self-reflect or be with someone you love and just talk about gratitude. Just have a night where you're just getting clear, inviting clarity in your life and helping yourself slow down and making that part of the productivity. Being easy on yourself is part of the season as well. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing this space and being a part of the Coffee and Crystals journey. Until next time, stay hydrated and have a good week.